All right, guys. So this is the fourth part, okay? The fourth part of our Dividend Stock series where I'm sharing with you my strategy, also called the brick and mortar strategy, on how to get paid dividend income every week of every month for the rest of your life, all right? So let's jump right into it and let's get it. If you've been following along, remember this is the fourth part, right? So if you missed like all the other parts, I recommend you guys go back to like part one, where I'm kind of like breaking down the actual strategy. Like I call it the brick and mortar strategy, right? So if you guys are just tuning in for the first time, I highly recommend you guys go back, so you kind of like get a better idea of exactly why I'm picking the stocks the way that I am picking them. That way you're not lost in the weeds, right? And not knowing what the hell I'm talking about, right? So right now, like so far, remember, right? Like I'm breaking down my bricks, right? Are the stocks that pay out dividends quarterly. And then my mortar, right? If you guys know what mortar is, like that cement mix, right? That solidifies the bricks when you're trying to build a brick wall, right? So my mortar are the stocks that actually pay out monthly, right? That way, as I'm stacking my bricks that pay out quarterly, I solidify my strategy just in case one of those bricks, for whatever reason, happens to stop paying out dividends, right? At least my mortar, right, or my dividend stocks that pay out monthly are going to cover the gaps just in case, right? But for the most part, the stocks that I'm picking have a proven track record of continuing to pay out dividends, not just paying out dividends, but actually a history of growing those dividends, right? So if you're like, if you want to know more about like how exactly or what my criteria is for picking out the individual stocks and how I research, right, whether or not the actual company has a history of growing the dividends, right? There's different layers to the way I pick each individual stock, right? So again, go back, and I want to say, I think it was like video number two, if I'm not mistaken, is where I actually broke down in detail the criteria, how I pick out each individual stock. That way you kind of like get a better idea of exactly like the method to my madness, right, behind the strategy, okay? But in any case, guys, let me just keep it moving and just share with you the final one, right? As you can see here, we've already shared the ones that pay out in February and the ones that pay out in March. And as you can see, because it's a quarterly paying stock, right, whatever stock pays out in February, it's going to follow the same pattern, meaning like if it pays out in February, then it's going to pay out in May, and then in August, and then in November, right? And again, the same thing for the stocks that pay out in March, right, are going to follow the same strategy in June, pay out in September, and pay out in December, right? And again, these are my bricks, right? Meaning like they pay out quarterly, right? But as you can see, like this green line here, right, it just shows you which stocks pay out monthly, right? So I've already shared with you the stock symbol O, which is Realty Income, right? It's a great stock, and it happens to pay out monthly. And not only that, but it pays out in the middle, like usually around the 15th, right? Usually about around the 15th of every month is when Realty Income, stock symbol O, pays out, right? So that's one of my mortar stocks, right? And then I'm going to share with you again the one on my last stock, my last mortar stock. As you can see, I only have two, right? So I'm going to share with you real quick, right, which one is the last one, right? But first, let me knock out finally for January. That way we solidify our brick wall, and we have all our months covered in every quarter, right? And our first stock right here, right, during the pandemic, this one's called Kimberly-Clark, stock symbol KMB, right? What's one of the things that happened during the pandemic, right? Everybody started freaking out right? And started stocking up on toilet paper, right? Everybody started stocking up on toilet paper, right? So KMB happens to be like one of those companies that invest, or like, you know, like they invest in paper, like whether it be like Scott tissues, you know, tissue to blow your nose, or toilet paper, all types of different like toiletries and things like that, right? So, you know, during this pandemic, what happened? Like everybody freaked out and started stocking up on toilet paper, right? So like that happened to be one of the industries that skyrocketed during the pandemic. But now like the prices are starting to fall because everybody's kind of like calming down and cooling out, you know, and not freaking out, trying to stock up on toilet paper, right? But yeah, KMB is one of my favorite all-time stocks also, okay? It's also one of those companies that have been paying out dividends for years, right? This is another one of those companies. So let's go back here to my little research, right? So we go here again, Kimberly-Clark, stock symbol KMB. And as you can see, right, the actual dividend is only 3.49, right? So another layer, right? Remember, this is like for the short term, right? It pays out, my strategy is going to pay out weekly, right? Every week of every month for the rest of my life, right? But the way that I'm researching and picking which stocks to put in my brick and mortar strategy, another layer is long term, right? Like not only is it going to pay me out, or not only am I benefiting on the short term, but also I'm picking the stocks that have a proven track record. That way, not only is this a short-term strategy, but where this really pays off is in the long term, right? So again, guys, please make sure you check out the other videos, part of this dividend stock series, right? Where I break down where this really takes off, guys, is like where you have exponential growth as far as like, you know, reinvesting your dividends. And at the same time, you keep investing more money, right? You keep feeding the machine, and you slowly start building, right? Before you know it, this thing has a mind of its own, right? And every time they pay out, every brick pays out, it's more than enough for you guys to feed it right back in and buy another share, right? And all of a sudden, like that little snowball effect, right? This thing just starts taking off and has a mind of its own, right? But where this really takes off, guys, is like year 15 and year 20, meaning like, you know, as you're trying to like, you know, double your money, this thing has like 6 times the growth. Instead of just doubling, you're getting 6 times your growth, right? But this really takes off in the long term, right? So again, you benefit in the short term because it's a dividend paying stock, meaning you're going to get dividend income. All right, so let's go check out the calendar to see when Kimberly-Clark is paying out. All right. All right, so as you can see here, right? What happened there? As you can see here, right? It pays out usually that first week, right? That first week of January, again in October, again in July, and again in April, right? So the reason I'm doing it right now, right? So as you can see, like right now, unfortunately, it's like July 5th. So the ex-dividend date was June 3rd, right? So right now it's June 5th, June 5th, right? So we're late. So we're not going to be able to cash in the next time it pays out, which is going to be July 2nd, right? But it's okay, right? We just get it in place and we catch it the next time around, right? All right, so, and again, as you can see, right, it's a quarterly paying stock, and it usually pays out that first week in January. And of course, the reason I'm doing it now is because I was hoping to catch it so you guys have more than enough time to set up your own strategy and your own portfolios, right? So again, please, guys, by all means, like, please let me know down in the comments which stocks would you have picked. Right? Maybe you don't like Kimberly-Clark. Maybe you prefer another dividend-paying stock. So by all means, what I really want to do is like create a community where we're all sharing with each other our own opinions, right? About which ones may be better, right? Which ones may be better. And if one of you, you know, comment below and share another stock that you would have picked, and if it looks better than this stock, guess what? I'm gonna take you up on your opinion, on your choice, right? At the end of the day, guys, I always preach to my students, guys, there's enough money out here for everyone, right? A lot of times, unfortunately, when we don't come from money, we fall into that trap of always like having that mind of scarcity versus abundance. And life is all about abundance, guys. And like a rich man once told me, right? I heard this quote the other day, guys, and I thought it was awesome, right? He said, you can't receive the blessings from God if your hands are closed. Right? If your hands are closed, you can't receive God's blessings, right? You got to open up your hands to receive the blessings from up above, right? So what I'm getting at here, guys, life is all about abundance and sharing, okay? Believe it or not, the more you give out into the world, it comes back tenfold. And I believe it because I've seen it with my own eyes. Seen it with my own eyes, guys. But anyway, let me get off my my podium or my pulpit, whatever you want to call it, right? All right, so let me go back here. All right, so KMB, right? So as you can see, like it says January, but it's gonna pay out right now in July, right? So the next stock is, drum roll. All right, the next stock is symbol MO. MO, I don't know why they chose the stock symbol MO, but the company is called Altria. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. And like it's one of those companies like they considered a sin stock because it's like into tobacco, you know, and of course like, you know, tobacco doesn't have a good moral track record, let's just say, right? But it is one of those companies that if you invest in, it is paying out dividends, right? So, you know, I'm not saying anything about, you know, everybody has their own opinions and their own morals or whatever. So for whatever reason, if you don't want to invest in this company because it has to deal with tobacco, then, you know, more power to you. But this company is a great company as far as like paying out dividends, right? As you can see here, and you know, it's fairly, it's not expensive is what I'm getting at, right? It's not expensive, even though it's close to the high right now, right, at 49.77, but it's still a great company and it's a great stock and it's a great industry because we all know, guys, you know, tobacco happens to be like one of those industries along with pharmaceuticals that's like always making money hand over fist, right? So the dividends they paying, look, it's got a great dividend, right? It's 6.91. Like another criteria of my dividend growth strategy, right, is that you want to start out your portfolio, the portfolio average, you want to be at least at a 4.7, right? So again, guys, if you want to know more about the layers behind like how I'm picking and choosing my stocks, right, go back to one of our videos, right? I think I'll put whatever, I don't know if it's up in this corner or up in this corner, right? Hopefully that you guys get to see, like you guys could go check out the other video where I'm sharing with you the strategy of how exactly my criteria to pick each individual stock, okay? So let's see when it pays out, right? Let's see when it pays out. Calendar here. By the way, guys, I use TD Ameritrade. So for those of you that are just getting started, if you don't have a brokerage account yet, I think the minimum they force you to start out with is with $1,000. Right? I know there are other brokerages out there, but you know, I'm just sharing with you which one I use and I like it. You know, I've had no problems with it because, like, you know, of course it's got great tools to research your stocks. But not only that, you know, once you buy your stock, you don't have to pay any commissions on it, right? It's when you start doing like fancy type of trading, like options trade and stuff like that, that's when they charge you a commission for every trade. But if you do like a regular purchase of a stock or you sell your stock, you don't have, it's free, meaning like you only have to pay for the price of the stock, right? You don't have to add on commissions to it, which is pretty cool, right? So, and that's so far, like I don't know in the future, that might change, but as of right now, it's commission free, right? So, especially when you're starting out and you're trying to build your portfolio, right? That's a great benefit to have in your brokerage, right? Because you're trying to squeeze out every dollar you can, right? So, but again, guys, let me go back here. All right, so the pay date, right, the ex-dividend date is June 12th. So you guys still have time. Right now it's June 5th. So you guys still have time, right, to buy this stock. That way you cash in the next time it pays out. Last year was June 12th. So, you know, common sense would tell me like this year it's going to be around June 12th of 2021, the next ex-dividend date. So as long as you own it before that date, right, you're going to cash in the next time they pay out. So again, they usually pay out the second week, right? As you can see, like sometimes it changes, right, depending on what's going on with the market or whether it's like on the weekend or whatever. But for the most part, Altria usually pays out that second week in the first month of the quarter, right? So again, you see January 11th. So let's go back to our strategy board here. And again, the stock symbol is MO. I know that the company is called Altria. Let me see here. Altria Group, but the actual stock symbol is MO. Okay. All right, let's keep it moving. Next one is WPC. The next stock symbol is WPC. Right? And it stands for WP Carry, which happens to be another real estate investment trust type of company, kind of similar to, let me go back to the board here, kind of similar to like one of my favorite Mortar stocks that pays out monthly is Realty Income, right? Stock symbol O. But this is WP Carry, pays out quarterly. Like, even though it's still in the same industry as far as like real estate investment trust, right? So it's a REIT, real estate investment trust. But again, remember, right? Like, my bricks are not going to stop, or I should say my mortars, right? My stocks that happen to be paying out monthly are not going to stop me from investing or diversifying within that same industry. For example, case in point, right? WPC, okay, is going to be the third stock of January, right? Meaning like the third week, right? So because Realty Income happens to be my Mortar stock that happens to be in the same industry, meaning like you invest in real estate, that's not going to stop me from choosing another brick, which happens to also be investing in real estate, right? Because yes, remember I told you, I'm diversifying within different industries, right? But again, another layer on top of that, I'm choosing my bricks, which happen to pay out quarterly, right? And then another layer is I'm choosing my Mortar stocks will happen to be paying out monthly. And I know, guys, I got to come up with something sexier than the brick and mortar strategy, guys. So, by the way, if you guys could come up with like a better name for the strategy, guys, by all means, please comment below. I'm more than happy to adopt one of your suggestions, right? But for now, guys, we're just going to keep it brick and mortar strategy, right? So again, like WPC, again, like even though I'm diversifying within my bricks, yes, it happens to be in real estate also, but this is a quarterly paying stock, okay? It's not a monthly paying stock. So technically, I'm still diversifying within my diversification, right? That makes sense. Okay, well, anyway, let's keep it moving, right? So again, WP Carry. Let's just take a look at the summary here, right? As you can see, it pays out 5.37%, meaning like the dividend yield, right? But it is a quarterly paying stock, right? And it is on the high side right now, right? But like right now, as you can see in the market, for the most part, all the stocks are trending to be on the 52-week high, right? Some of them are coming down, like Kimberly-Clark actually came down a little bit because, you know, everybody stopped freaking out about toilet paper. But in any case, let's keep going, right? Let me see. When you do pay out, right? So here you go, right? No, that's the term. That's the term I was like. Educated guess was the term I was looking for, right? So again, like they haven't you know, declared the ex-dividend date yet, right? But again, educated guess. Last year was around June 29th, right? So educated guess around that date for this year is when the next ex-dividend date is going to be for this company. Meaning like you got to own it before that date so you could kind of like cash in the next time they pay out the actual dividends, which is going to be in July, but that third week, right? You see 15, 15, 15, right? They always try to keep it the same. So again, this is a quarterly paying stock, which happens to be another one of my bricks. And it's also a very strong company, which I like very much. And me, like naturally, like I love real estate, you know, happens to be like one of my passions and my side hustles as well. Because at the end of the day, right, our ultimate goal is financial freedom. And the secret to financial freedom, guys, are you paying attention? The secret to financial freedom is being able to generate multiple streams of income. So dividend income just happens to be one of the ways that I generate passive income, right? I know like passive income sounds sexy because, you know, you kind of get this illusion that you don't have to put no work in. You can just lay back and let the money come in. But in the long run, yes. But in the beginning, you got to put the work in, right? You kind of like got to build a machine, right? You got to build your machine, and then you flick on the autopilot switch, and then you let it keep, you know, shooting out dividends or whatever type of strategy or investment you're trying to pursue, right? Of course, anything that makes money, guys, it takes work, right? It takes work in the very beginning, especially to build it, to make sure it's working, and then you flick on that autopilot switch, and then you keep rocking and rolling to go build another way of making money, right? Another stream of income, okay? That's a topic for another day, and hence what our YouTube channel is all about, guys. So make sure you guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell button. That way you get notifications whenever we come out with a new video, because what our channel is all about, guys, is reaching financial freedom, where I'm sharing with you my different strategies on exactly how I do it, right? And of course, I always welcome you guys to be part of our community and share what strategies are working for you as well, right? That way in the near future, like some of you guys come in here, if you're not shy, right? I'll do a quick interview, right? We start interviewing each other and keep growing, right? Because at the end of the day, like I said, again, right? Life is about abundance, right? And of course, like it's a hard thing to do when you've been burned in the past, guys, but you gotta have tough skin and have the courage to remain open to life, right? I'm not naive, guys. I know I've been burned numerous times in my past, guys, but end of the day, I'm a man of faith, right? And I gotta stay open. I gotta stay open and keep my hands open to receive the blessings from up above and keep giving and sharing, right? All right, again, let me get off my podium. All right, guys, so WP carry, all right, third week. So as you can see, before I jump into that, let me just give you the final brick, right? As you can see, like I've got them numbered, right? The final brick is, this stock is called CSCO. If you guys are not familiar with CSCO, CSCO is another one of those stocks. Let me open this up a little bit so you can see it. Stock symbol CSCO, right? Another thing that we've learned from this pandemic is like all the Zoom calls, right? Like all of a sudden, like if you've got kids, like all of a sudden you have to do school through Zoom or work through Zoom, or if you're running your own company and connecting with your clients or your employees, right? Zoom calls. Like Zoom is another company, like the stock, went up through the roof, right? But another company that also benefited from all these like web calls and all that stuff is CSCO as well, right? But CSCO has been around for a long time. Like if you guys are, familiar with investing in stocks, like CSCO has been around for a very long time. And it's also another one of those companies that benefited during this pandemic, right? But that's not the only benefit of CSCO, okay? But of course, as you can see, like it's still trending on the high side, because one of the things that was able to benefit, like if you guys watch the news, right? Like you always see, like when they're doing the interviews and stuff, what system are they using, right? They're using like CSCO system, if you guys are familiar, right? And well, what I'm trying to get at here, guys, if like these major corporations, especially like telecommunication corporations and stuff like that, are using CSCO, well, guess what? They're most likely are signing like contracts for extended number of years, right? So can you imagine how much like revenue CSCO is generating from being able to get contracts from all these like telecommunications conglomerates on TV and all that stuff, right? And that's just one aspect of what this company does, right? Besides all the other stuff, right? So, but again, guys, like I always highly advise, you do your own research, right? I'm just sharing with you what stocks I like, right? But of course, as you can see, right, it's not paying out such a high dividend, right? The dividend yield is only at 2.74. But again, right, the way I'm picking out my stocks, on average, I want my starting average dividend yield, and I put all my stocks together, to be about 4.7, right? Because another layer is the way I'm choosing my stocks, right, is that they have a proven track record of growing those dividends, right? So that way I know at least have a proven track record of growing those dividends year after year. Well, guess what? I at least know my dividends are going to keep growing, right? Because not only am I teaching you how to benefit week after week from dividend income using my strategy, but this is really going to pay off in the long term, right? So we got to have that discipline of not only reinvesting our dividends, but also like edging that little snowball along by adding more and more money, right? So let's check out the calendar. All right, so again, educated guess, right? You got to own this stock before July 2nd, right? So the last year was July 2nd, 2020. So again, educated guess. July 2nd of 2021. So like around that date is when they're going to declare their ex-dividend date, right, for CSCO. So as long as you own the stock before that date, before July 2nd, right, and of course they're going to give you more than enough time as far as a heads up for you guys to grab your stocks or your shares, right, if you choose to pick this stock, right? That way it's going to pay out July 22nd, right? So it's going to be that fourth and final week, right? Every year has 4 quarters, right? Let's go back here, right? Every year has 4 quarters, and within every quarter there are 3 months, right? So I've already shared with you in my prior videos, right, what I did for the second month of the quarter and what I did for the third month of the quarter. The reason I was doing that because when the videos were coming out, I was hoping to give you guys more than enough time. So if you guys decided to follow the strategy, you guys could pick up the shares, right? I have a total of 12 bricks. That solidifies, or that makes my brick wall, right? But what solidifies, right, like the cement mix that holds the bricks together, what solidifies my brick wall is my mortar, or my monthly paying stocks, right? So one of them is Realty Income, right? And another one, stock symbol SBR, is Sabine. I want to say Sabine Trust. Hope I'm saying that. Yeah, Sabine or Sabine Royalty Trust. Hope I'm saying that right. All right, so Sabine Trust happens to be in the oil and gas industry. Like for the last few years, the oil and gas industry has been taking a hit, but as we can see, like the prices are starting to go up, right? So I believe like gas is starting to make a comeback, right? And as you can see here, guys, it's a monthly paying stock, right? And it usually pays out towards the end of the month, okay? Every month, but towards the end of the month, right? So let's check out the quick summary, right? And right, it's not expensive, and it's giving out 5.96%, right? So it's a great dividend yield, and it's a monthly paying stock. And also, so what I'm doing here is diversifying within my mortar, right? I'm diversifying within my monthly paying stocks, okay? Because unfortunately, like the more like research you do on other monthly paying stocks, unfortunately, the majority happen to be in real estate. Like it's usually like REITs, right? So that's why, as you can see, like, again, let's go back here, right? So SBR is one of my monthly paying mortar stocks, right? Which solidifies like the end of the month, right? So I'm covered in the middle of the month, like the 15th of the month with Realty Income, and then I'm covered at the end of the month to solidify my brick wall. So right now, what I'm working on, and I'm hoping you guys can help me, right, do my research, is that I'm looking for other monthly paying stocks, right? I'm looking for 2 more to solidify my brick and mortar strategy, right? So I'm looking for one that's going to pay out here. All right, let's color code it so you guys can follow me. All right, so right now, I'm looking for one that's going to pay out in the first week, and I'm also looking for one that's going to pay out in the second week. Right? That way, I've got a solid brick wall. All right? So let me get rid of that. So right now, I'm at the stages where I'm researching for 2 more stocks to solidify my brick and mortar strategy, as far as like 2 more that are going to pay out monthly. Okay? So as you can see, guys, right now I've got 12, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These 12 are my bricks or my quarterly paying stocks that are going to follow the same strategy month after month, quarter after quarter, right? And then I've got my mortar stocks that are going to solidify my brick wall, right? Are going to pay out monthly. So I've got Realty Income is going to pay out that 3rd week of the month, usually around the 15th. And I've got Sabine Royalty Trust, which usually pays out at the end of the month, okay? So right now, I'm in search of 2 more stocks that are going to pay out monthly, right? And I'm hoping I can find 2 more stocks that are not in real estate, right? Because I'm trying to diversify, right? Diversification is the name of the game. All right, guys? Yeah, so again, guys, if you don't mind, please comment below. Please let me know you guys are benefiting from this. Any questions you may have. And if you got some, suggestions of your own of what stocks you would pick, And I would highly appreciate it, guys, because right now it's been kind of like it's been tough. Like I've been trying to like really research like which 2 stocks to put in there, but unfortunately I keep coming up short because most of them happen to be in real estate, and I'm trying to avoid, you know, getting too heavy as far as stocks into real estate, right? I want to diversify, okay? But that being said, guys, at the end of the day, like I always tell my students, whenever in doubt, trust your gut, follow your heart, bet on yourself, and double down. This is Diego Rodriguez signing out. Peace. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Be safe.